Today on the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, we are discussing Loki, episode 4, the Nexus event.
Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll.
And I'm Jeff Randall.
And in our producer chair today, we have the lovely Ashley Coffin. How you doing, Ash?
I'm so... my emotions.
Right?
I don't know how I feel.
Yeah. You did see the post-credits, right?
I did. So I'm like, it was like having something really horrible happen and then immediately having it not happen.
Yeah.
Left me in a state of...
Yeah.
Why would you do that to me even in the first place? Even if you're going to take it away, why would you do that?
Full spoiler alerts, everybody. If you haven't seen the episode yet, this is for episode 4. I just... like, they did it to us again. They killed Loki and made us feel it again. Like, made us actually feel it. And they had a replacement Loki on standby, so, like, we believed it.
Oh, I got it. Cow was like, I knew it. See, told you the girl was going to take over. I was like, it's not time yet.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not ready. Like, maybe that's what's going to happen. I'm going to be fine with it, but not now.
Not yet.
Not right
like
now.
4?
Not like these.
Not like these. Thank you, Switch.
I was like, we made so much progress with this Loki, and now it's all going to be wiped. Because I was like, then immediately I'm like, well, we saw maybe she's going to go find bowling alley Loki, but that's not our Loki. That's another Loki, and we're going to start from the beginning again. And I was like, and he finally fell in love a little bit with himself, which was totally cute. And we were like saying that from the whole time, which I loved. But like, they just. And then after the post credits, I was just like, oh, thank God. Like
it felt like a workout. It was an emotional workout.
After it happened, I walked right to the wine bottle, and I grabbed it. And he was like, Eeyore walked out of the room like a kid that just was told they weren't going to Disney World. Like, I just got up and I left, and I was very slow. So sad. And then I plopped back down, and I was like, what's it? Because I didn't go online today, so I didn't know that there was a post-credit scene or a mid-credit whatever scene.
I made sure to text Ash, like, as soon as I laid down, I was like, okay, it's like 4 o'clock, 4:15. She's already up. She's probably on the way to work. It's like, stay your ass off the internet today until you watch this episode. You're not allowed here. You're not welcome on the internet.
I told Jeff, I was like, I didn't even check the weather.
Weather, likelihood, 90% chance of Loki getting pruned in the middle of the episode.
So upset.
But don't worry, 85% chance that he'll return in a post-credit sequence.
Oh, you wanted to know about rain. Oh.
I just don't know how I feel fully about all of that. Like, I do feel a little... They made me feel it, so I can't be too upset. They made me feel both things. They made me feel his death, and they made me feel relief when he's back alive. I did not feel what I would fear that I would feel. If you had told me 3 weeks ago that this was happening in an episode, I'd be like, really? They're going to pull a Thor the Dark World on us? Like... Again, they're going to kill Loki and bring him back in the same episode? That's just another Thor the Dark... That's what we all hate about Thor the Dark World. But they did it, and I did not feel that way. I felt... Because it moved the story forward, I think. Like, the story that happened with Loki and Thor the Dark World, they move his character forward, then... They not only take back all of the progress he made with that last scene, but they also take back the story. So, like, what happens in Thor the Dark World that's important? Nothing. And it's just like, the relationship ends up in the same place. But that's not the case here. So I don't have the same problem that I have with that movie.
Right.
I think I've fallen for it every time. Like, I've had the emotional extreme every single time. Thor the Dark World, Infinity War, this one again. He got me every time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I get that.
And the one of the other things that's great about this one, to put a positive light on it, is that it also gives us hope for Mobius. For getting Mobius back.
100%.
Right? How overshadowing, because honestly, I until he was okay, I completely, like, that it showed that Loki hadn't kind of made it. I kind of forgot about what happened, because I went from man use a to no, immediately it was just bam after bam after bam, and then relief, and then sitting with it and then being like, oh no, Mobius.
Yeah. It's like you circle back on it and you're just like, oh, all the emotions.
I know.
Oh, for sure.
Did you talk about this morning that's where they send Loki variants?
Right. Well, we've talked a lot about what is this place? Is it where they send all variants? Is it Loki variants? They did mention that like a lot of Loki variants have been through there. They're one of the most common like people that get varianted, I think, in one of the episodes.
They are.
Didn't they say that?
Yeah, that was episode 2.
Yeah.
We've dealt with a ton of Lokis in the past and slideshow.
Yeah. I listen. On my rewatch this afternoon, I noticed another line. I talked about this last night. The idea of how long was it for the TVA? Time moves differently here. How long was it between episode 2 and episode 4? How long has it been since Loki was working with Owen Wilson? Because Owen Wilson says a number of things that make me think he's dealt. He talks about all these Lokis. He talks about that. He also talks about a lot of water under the bridge since then. He's talking about to Loki, like, we're friends. Like, you believed me once or something like that. You believed in me once. He says something like that. And he's like, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then. And it's like, how long were they searching for them? And that combined with the fact that all those timelines were cleaned up by the time we see the TVA again. All the bombing of the timeline meant nothing. So has it been 100 years? Like, we just don't know. Like, Mobius is acting different and like looking.
Yeah, I don't know.
The way he talks, he could have dealt with 17 Lokis since that Loki disappeared.
Right.
You know what I mean? It could have been that all of those timelines that she creates in that moment and the time bomb could have created 17 different Lokis, and he had to go back and clean all of them up, and then they're dealing with this. Like, we don't know what happened between 2 and 4 for Mobius, and it seems like a lot happened, and it seemed like it was involved Loki somehow, and variants of Loki. So maybe all these Lokis that are on this planet are ones that were recently pruned because of the time bombs. I don't know.
Brian V. Klein and I were talking in a Facebook Messenger chat earlier today about a possibility, and it's like blowing our collective minds. And it is, what if when people get pruned, they're not actually like sent, or like, sorry, what if the Minutemen have the pruning sticks and they prune people, they think that the people that they are pruning are being just reset, gone, whatever, dead. What if they're actually being sent to this alternate timeline, alternate universe, whatever, but that place is actually Battle World?
Ooh.
For Secret Wars.
Interesting.
That would be a good setup.
It would. It would be a great way to get, like, almost instantly get us Fantastic Four, X-Men, the...
It's true. Any particular X-Men they want to bring over, they could.
Right.
Like,
literally anything from any universe could come over.
They could have... I like this a lot. I like the idea
Michael Fassbender?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
He could show up on this planet. The next episode could have anyone from any variant universe in it. And then they could have they could like talk about what this place is, and this could be Battle World. Then he gets the F out of there, and then they have a sequel to like episode 5 in a movie form, and it's like Secret Wars or whatever, right? Or like...
Right.
That could be really fun.
Steph H89 in chat asks, what is Battle World? To give a brief synopsis, the Beyonder, who is a being that's like universally powerful, has all kinds of crazy, ridiculous power, collected a bunch of different heroes to go on to... This was in Secret Wars in like the 80s. Collected a bunch of different heroes to duke it out on what was called Battle World. But more recently... Secret Wars in, I think it was 2015, had a bunch of different universes clashing together because of the people known as the Beyonders. They were throwing universes together and kind of seeing what would happen. So the power of the Beyonder that we have known from comics was stolen by Dr. Doom, who made himself God Emperor Doom, and he created this world that's an amalgam of all of the different universes. Like, we got the Ultimates universe. We've got Age of Ultron. We've got the Marvel Zombies one. We've got, all of these different universes are together, and a lot of the characters from all of those universes have come together into this world. Like, all of the different kinds of Thor are the police force. They're called the Thor Corps. Doctor Strange is the sheriff of one of the towns.
Do you mean Age of Apocalypse?
Oh, Age of Apocalypse was also there. But no, Age of Ultron was an alternate universe comic as well. But yeah, all of these were smashed together into this weird amalgam world where everything was like a pizza slice of space, and Doctor Doom made himself the god emperor of this world. He had himself as married to Sue Storm,
as he does.
Yeah,
I do love this storyline.
Yeah, like you do.
Yeah,
and then Franklin Richards was his kid, and
he's like, "You're my kid now."
Yeah, and Franklin's sister, what is her name? Valeria? Or it starts with a V. But they were their children, and like Reed was somewhere else.
Who?
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
So, to give a quick short explanation, it's just a planet where Marvel decided to tell a story where all the characters could fight from all the different universes. Right. And then what was the stakes? Were they fighting for their respective universes?
They were fighting for their universe's survival, but none of the universes actually survived. What ended up happening is that Franklin Richards created a brand new one. So a lot of the people from the Ultimates universe and the various universes were kind of like thrown together into the all new, all different, and that's when Miles Morales joined the 616 universe. So you've got all new, all different Avengers, all new, all different whatever.
What I like about this is that it doesn't really conflict with the idea, any of the other ideas that we have or whatever. Like
exactly,
like Kang could still happen. All these things could still happen, but it could bring the multiverse of madness. All that stuff could still happen, but it could just be a little spin-off thing that happens, and then we could get that thing we've always wanted, which is like Hugh Jackman on screen with Captain America or Chris Evans. Like all these things could happen. Plus, Robert Downey Jr., anybody who's dead could come back for a one-off movie where they're in Battle World, and like you could just have an insane epic event where like this little pocket universe has existed because of the events of Loki. That's a lot of fun. I love that theory, and I love the nature of dumping the toy box out and just like playing with all the toys. That's super fun.
Yeah. And it's like it's another way that we might be able to, or I don't want to put this out into the universe because I tend to make predictions and then they become true.
No.
But it's a way that Spider-Man could go away,
Sure.
From home?
Yeah, well, like the
far?
No Way Home. Like No Way Home. There's no way back to his main universe because it doesn't exist anymore. Because Battle World.
Well, but his main universe is the current Marvel universe, right? So like,
yeah.
So that would get rid of everything.
Well, that would get rid of, like, if he got stuck in, or if he got put into a different, verse, or like got sent home with the Sony stuff to be like, you're the Spider-Man there now.
I don't really want them to get rid of the current MCU canon. Like if they combine it with other multiverses, especially if they do it in a way where they can send them off to some battle world and you get a story with the X-Men and the Spider-Mans and all that stuff, that's great. Like, I mean, honestly, that could be what Multiverse of Madness is. We keep talking about it like it's two separate things, but like, couldn't this all be the result of all that stuff?
Crossover event?
Yeah, that could be a giant crossover event.
Oh, that would be
Spider-Man
so
movies. The Spider-Man movies could be the introduction of the Spider-Verse sort of thing, which leads into Multiverse of Madness, which could lead into Battle World. This could all be sort of leading towards the same thing, and all of that could be a result of Kang, especially if Kang is the Timekeepers or some form of that. If Kang is the one that's affecting the timeline the way he is, then then this all just ties together perfectly into a nice little bow that like creates the multiverse and allows all these excess stories. I like the idea personally, and I've said it, of the Sony Spider-Man stuff being a different Spider-Man, because I really love the idea of Tom Holland sticking around. I would love it if we found out that all the Venom stories and like some of these other stories ended up, they were in the Andrew Garfield universe or like something like that. We end up that Spider-Man that we saw on the wall was not Tom Holland, and like Sony gets to keep telling Spider-Man stories and Marvel gets to keep telling its stories because now the multiverse exists.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's possible. I just thought about this. Captain Kitten Mittens in chat brought up that it's also the introduction of the Venom symbiote in comics. That was the 80s
That's true, yeah.
Secret Wars, as when Spider-Man got the symbiote. So he could be sent to Battleworld, get the symbiote, and then be sent back to Sonyverse, and the Venom movie actually happens after that in the timeline. And
sure, why not?
I don't know why I'm trying to justify this. I hate it.
Right.
I don't want it.
It could happen. Or
What are you doing?
I don't know. I don't know what to do with my hands.
I am become death.
Sit on them.
Yeah, I am the architect of my own demise.
Any other things you want to throw out before you go into your feedback cave, Ashley? To round up some feedback. Anything else you want to
I just like
discuss?
so many little parts. Like Mobius giving like Loki that little pep talk before they left the loop.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like doing what his mom did, like being like, you can do it. And if anyone told you they didn't, like, they're wrong. You can do it, buddy.
You can do it. You can even be a good guy.
Be a good guy.
Just in case no one told you that.
In case no one ever told you this, you have the option. And like, I love that for Mobius because Mobius has encountered a bunch of Lokis and also just a bunch, maybe other variants in his time as a TVA guy. And like the idea that he just knows that some people need to hear that you have an option, you know, that's really beautiful because that is what a lot of people need to hear. A lot of people don't think they have options to be different from who they are. And we all have choice.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what makes Killmonger such a great villain in Black Panther is he thinks this is the only way that we can get what needs to happen. Like we can get the results that we need out of the world is to do exactly this. Yeah. And like, damn, he believes it so fervently, you know? And like maybe Owen Wilson needs to just pop in and be like, hey man, you don't have to be like this.
I really like Owen Wilson's character, and I do hope he's not gone.
Didn't I tell you, Jeff? Didn't I tell you she was that Renslayer? She was a non-trustworthy. I sniffed it out of her right away. Right away. I was like, oh, and then when she was in there talking to him, I was like, shut up, you lion. I was so angry.
The fact that she seems fully in on it just makes me really think that this has something to do with Kang even more.
Well, I'm like, how dare you, lady? How dare you give him shit? I'm sorry, beep. Give him for the same thing that you did, but yours was worse. You know, little lady Loki took that thing from you, and you did the same thing he did, and you have been giving him nothing but grief about it from like our friendship is a friendship that expands universes. Shut up. Oh, I was so angry. Like you're giving him grief. You're just blowing smoke up there. Oh, I hated her. Oh, I hope that Sylvie breaks all her fingers, rips off all her fingernails one at a time. I hope she doesn't want to talk. Oh, get her.
The Renslayer, how did it end with Renslayer? I'm kind of forgetting how she left the episode.
Renslayer was like, Sylvie, do it. Just do it. And Sylvie was like, no. I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to prune you. You're going to tell me everything.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and I hope she resists.
After seeing the ending, after the credits, like I'm just like totally forgotten everything else. It's just so good. That the ending is so exciting. It was so exciting. I feel like that's mostly what we talked about last night, which is I guess what we need to get to, like the other stuff that we didn't talk to about last night.
Yeah. Ashley, how great would it be though if Sylvie took one of the prune sticks and like a pair of gardening shears and like hit the prune stick against her finger and then cut the finger off before it gets too far.
Perfect. Or cut the finger off first and then make her watch as you prune it away.
All
Not
right.
getting that back.
Well, I can't bleep all that, so let's move on.
Sorry.
Got super dark.
I really like the Loki Sylvie stuff, like when they got back together and she was like, are you okay?
Oh, the emotions are there.
How do you guys feel about him being in love with himself? It's so perfectly Loki.
I was calling it.
fitting.
I was
Yeah,
like,
we
it's
talked about it
perfectly
last
fine
week.
with me.
For sure.
I love it.
I love it. It's so weird to be like, if they actually make it a thing that's how we remember Loki. He's the guy who fell in love with a version of himself, and that, like, even especially if they get to be together,
But they're so alone.
right?
Yeah, they know each other's loneliness, and he just had like stars in his eyes.
Yeah, he did.
I really liked it. Ken was the best. He was like, uh-oh. I was like, what? He's like, this scene right now, one of them's going to die right now. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, nobody gets out of scenes like this. Okay, look at what's happening. And then I was like, that's not going to, and right as I was saying it, Loki disappeared. And I was like, no! Oh my God, I was so upset. I was so upset.
I'm mad at Ken for talking it into existence.
Seen a lot of movies. We know the formula.
Even though he said it like 24 hours later, like, I still blame him.
Yeah, it's still Ken's fault.
Still Ken's fault.
Damn it, Ken!
Time works differently in the
Ken.
TVA, the Titanic Variance Authority. Sorry. For those of you on the podcast who don't come to trivia night, we always pick on Ken for watching Titanic a lot.
Like every time Ashley walks out.
Every time Ashley walks out of trivia night, he's watching Titanic.
I've
which is
never
amazing.
told him. He has no idea.
I love it. I love it.
We need to stop talking about it then. We're right over here.
Oh, yeah. We picked on Ken last night, too. You got to listen to the podcast.
I got you. That's so funny. I like that it was Mobius who found him. I felt very vindicated with that. I was pretty strong about that. Mobius was going to find him.
Yeah, but like that Nexus event that was like playing the snake game, what's the deal there? Like what?
I thought the idea was that it
Why?
was just moving directly towards the red line, basically. Like, it has a little movement, but it's mostly... So all the ones that we've seen branch out up till now have kind of branched in a diagonal. Like,
Yeah,
and the
they
idea
branch.
being that the more direct you move toward the red line, the more variance you're creating, and the more you're on their radar, and the quicker they need to get to you. But that one went, like, straight for the red line, and it makes me wonder, like, what could their love have accomplished if they had stayed there? Does that make sense? Like, what... Like, were they gonna get out of that? Was the planet exploding and they were about to pull a, like, Princess Leia and just exist in space for a few minutes? I don't know. Like, were they gonna create, like, a magic love bubble and just fly away? Like, I don't know what their deal was. Like, what was the variance that they were creating?
I don't know.
The thing that I keep thinking of is like Loki is not supposed to fall in love, or Loki is not supposed to...
Know what it's like to not be alone?
Right. Loki is never supposed to not feel alone. So when he does find someone that knows his struggle and, you know, his soul has
Right.
found its counterpoint in another.
Uh-huh.
Another Owen Wilson movie there. When he does find that, it's such a shock to the timeline that it's just like, blah, Nexus event.
I agree with that. Like, I think that's what they're going for, but I hate that.
Yeah, and it's in an apocalypse. Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, what is him falling in love with himself going to do to stop that?
Exactly. The only way that makes sense with the way we've understood time travel till now, which is always evolving, they're kind of like, it all makes sense together right now, but it's like kind of shifting still. The only way that makes sense is if that love was about to cause them to do something so powerful that it would live beyond this event. And what was that? What was the thing that...
Romantic.
It is. It's super romantic. It also makes me call BS on it, though. Like, from a, like... They just had to have done something. I wish it would have shown them doing something to create the variance. Not just, like...
Yeah.
Maybe, like, a shield starts to form around them. Like, they're using their powers to create some sort of something to protect themselves from this apocalypse.
Yeah, those powers that we saw that weren't explained.
Yeah,
I thought...
We saw Loki, like... Loki, we saw him stop that planet last episode when he's, like, you know, caring for the two of them, really. And, like, what if in that moment they touched hands and then he, like, reaches out and he's stopping, like, an entire planet from collapsing because his power.
It was just like a water tank.
It was a building.
It was a building.
We all saw something different, apparently.
Well, Matt, you said planet. Your thought of what you were getting to kind of bled into the beginning of it.
Oh, did I say planet? No, I said
Yeah,
building.
you
Yeah, you said
twice.
planet. No, you said planet twice.
Oh, no, the second time was on purpose. The second time I'm talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
him stopping. I said when they were
I know
on
what you
that
meant.
planet.
I know what you meant.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Wait,
Yeah,
so a
know what you
building,
meant.
A building
He
is
stopped the
falling.
building. Maybe that was just his proximity to her, amplifying his power. So if they were to hold hands,
Or
they would do like a Fenris twins kind of thing from the X-Men series. What was it called? The Gifted?
Or you get to the idea that like
Star Wars shit.
a lot of magic is based on like willpower, right? Like that's a lot of magic is like
intention
and willpower creates it. So like if you have enough willpower, your powers are amplified. Like that's a lot of magic works that way. So like if his magic works that way, maybe he could stop that building from falling. And maybe in that moment when their love is really forming, he could have stopped the entire planet from exploding.
You know what? Now that we're talking about it, when he has his little like meltdown in Thor the Dark World and he pushes everything in that room,
right?
I don't think there was a green like I think everything just kind of moved, all the chairs and stuff.
Yeah.
I think there was a green
there's
a little bit of green energy.
Was there after?
But there's green energy in that moment too when he.
No, I watched. There wasn't
on him, like in his hand.
He didn't have the Rolex of time.
No, he didn't have the Rolex of time.
There is a little green energy though on his hand. I think I'll look it up.
I don't know. I like because we were watching. I mean, you can look at it. I don't think there was.
Yeah.
That's why I was so confused by it.
Do you mean on Lamentus?
Yeah, on Lamentus when he stopped that plant.
When he just when he does his Downward Dog Wonder Woman. No, he didn't have anything.
Downward Facing Wonder Woman. He didn't have anything.
But if he didn't have anything in Thor the Dark World, then that totally checks out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he had like a device. It just looked to me. I thought I remembered
trying to agree with you, and now you're debunking
some energy.
You said energy, but he didn't have anything on Lamentus.
Okay. Anything else, Ashley? You want to go into your feedback cave? We'll chat a little bit. Cool. Ashley's going to head into her feedback cave. We're going to do a little bit of more chatting while she rounds up a little live feedback from the audience.
Man, I'm scrolling through.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now. I remember him having green on his hands at one point, but it wasn't there. His hands are off screen, so it's possible he did have green on his hands, and then just his hands are off screen.
They would show us that if we were supposed, going to see it.
Well, we don't see it.
It's a TV show.
There's another moment. I'm just saying
everything he does usually has power. Like you see the green.
Right. But it's not only in his hands, right? Like he uses his hands a lot of times. I don't know. I'm looking at it.
He crosses his fists in a Wonder Woman style thing and brings them down. You think if there'd be any chance for him to have power in his hands, it would be then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
But I was trying to agree with you, which is why I don't understand why we're here right now. Because when he does it, and I think Thor the Dark World, I don't think there's any green either. I think everything, the chairs just fly.
Okay.
They do.
Cool.
So like under super stress, maybe his powers would be excelled like that.
Yeah.
So.
It's at 51 minutes, 51 seconds is when he does that in Thor the Dark World.
And there's no green, right?
There's no green?
There is no green.
I vaguely remembered a little wave of green when he does it, but okay.
I thought so too.
Of course, knowing them, they probably changed it. We're probably right.
This is how it was. I remember it.
I didn't remember it having green.
Disney's the major cause of all Mandela effects.
Right. Disney changing things after the fact is like going to be the new thing. Like when we have a Mandela effect that we want to like remember differently, we're like, oh yeah, Disney probably just changed it. It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Ashley. Something we didn't touch on at all last night, and I felt bad after we got off the cast. I was just so distracted by that last scene. Was the like
B-15's turn?
B-15's turn, yeah. Like
B-15's turn.
Because I loved her turn. I loved the surprising nature of it too. Like the fact that we had, all the stuff, you just expect Mobius is going to be the one to turn. He's the guy who's been listening.
We've been talking about that for a while. Like, oh yeah, get the team up.
Yeah. If Mobius were to be the one, it would be very expected.
But when she gets turned,
it was immediate. It was just immediate, and I loved it.
Honestly, I didn't feel like it was immediate. I love that we got to see her like kind of struggle with it.
Yeah.
She's having that identity crisis of like, what did you do to my brain?
Right.
These memories can't be mine. You put them there.
Right, because she had memories from another, from the other time she was controlled. And she's like piecing those together. She pulled memories from my brain, did all this stuff. And then this time when she shows her, like when he tells her that they say that he told me the TVA is lying to us. Like that's just like, oh, well, now I'm getting the same information from two sources. And then she like steals away with Sylvie and like lets her fully immerse herself in her memory. And I love that we don't see it like that moment because there's almost nothing you could see there that would like really live up to that. But like, and I love it. Like what do you remember from your life? She's like, I was happy. And B-15's a very like brash character that doesn't seem to have a lot of joy in her job. She just does her job and knows what she's supposed to do and follows the rules. And like, I was happy is such a tragic line. So good.
It really is. And watching her just emote while experiencing that. Yeah. It's just so, there's something so powerful about that. Like, I equate it to when Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes was sitting at the campfire in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier while Ao rehearsed the trigger words or the trigger phrase, to activate Winter Soldier, and he was just so broken over whether or not that was going to work, and just you saw all of the relief whenever she said you're free. Like, it felt like that with B-15.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful moment.
You notice we're not calling her Ruby anymore. Like, that is B-15 now.
I remember it because it's my favorite vitamin. Oh. Or is that B12? Maybe I ignore that joke. But y'all got it.
Yeah, it was a good joke.
It was a good joke.
It's a good joke.
They did something in this episode to make us remember. And it was a very, like, Sesame Street trick they pulled on us. They had a thing where she was like, I have a name. And then Sylvie was like, oh, I can't read it from here. And like said, letters are too small or something like that. Which made us all in the audience read her name, which makes it stick. Like, because we read it instead of just seeing it. And so, like, or hearing it as people are yelling numbers and letters. Like, that was a really funny, like, Sesame Street trick to make us all remember her name.
Yeah.
B-15.
Bingo.
No, not quite. Yeah, they're just bingo people is all it is. Somebody got a bingo
people.
card.
Yeah.
Wait. Well, no, C20. C20 doesn't work.
Yeah, C20 doesn't work.
Damn it.
Damn it. Free space? I don't know.
Battleship.
Yeah, they're battleship people.
This analogy is taking a hard turn.
Oh, it was always hard. It's always a hard turn. Okay, so I loved her. Let's see. So I got a lot of notes that I didn't even looked at last night because we were just so into the last scene.
Freaking out.
We were freaking out about like alligator Loki.
He's so cute.
Alligator Loki
is the best. How many people are going to go out with pet alligators this year dressed as Loki?
Probably not a lot, we're not endorsing that.
How many people in Florida are there?
You heard it here first.
Divide that by Marvel fans, and then you got your answer.
Yeah, carry the two.
Please, it's going to be like live on the streets of Florida on Halloween. It's chaos down here, Tom. Chaos.
It seems that every Florida man has himself an alligator.
Loki.
What's that? It seems that Disney is to blame.
I have a gripe. You guys watch these with your subtitles on? Yes, no?
I do.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching it, I don't usually, because I usually don't have to. I couldn't hear a damn word that those time cop bots were saying. Like the timekeeper robots. That was ridiculously annoying.
The Chuck E. Cheese animatronic guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was by design. Because, if you make their voices farther from regular voices, it makes them seem more ethereal and more mystical. So, like, the double voices, the booming voices, like, all of those
and they gave them all very
them
distinct, different voices, too.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand
more
a damn thing they were saying. So annoyed.
It really didn't matter. Whatever they were saying didn't matter at all.
To wrap up the thing about B-15, like I love when she comes out of the thing, she's like, I looked happy. And then she just looks at Sylvia and says, what now? It's just like she's like ready to serve a new master. Like she's like completely
immediately on board.
Her mind. As soon as she sees what her life could be like, she's like, okay, I'm on your side now. Ready to go. Let's do this thing.
Well, I mean, if you show someone, hey, look, you got kidnapped, decades ago from your time, how do you think they'd feel about it?
Also, you've been the tool of this system that's just been killing people that are just like you. Like, you've been
Maybe.
thinking variants are these dirty things, and like you've been treating them like that. Come on, variant. Like, she's been ready to like prune all these people. And like now she knows she is a variant. That moment when she looks at the poster and says like, do the right thing, delete them or something like that. And she's like, I've been buying that all this time. I've been buying this propaganda and I'm not going to buy it anymore. I thought for a second she was going to prune herself because she's like so believes in the mission or whatever.
Me too.
Did you?
I was worried. Yeah. Oh yeah.
She picks up the pruning stick or whatever and she's like looking at that poster and I was like, she knows she's a variant. She's about to prune herself. This is dark. But no, she goes to get Sylvie. I loved it.
Yeah. I liked that outcome better, but I would have understood.
Yeah, it would have been dark and weird, but I would have understood.
Did you guys talk about Sif? I didn't get to bring that up.
We talked about Sif a little
bit.
Listen, cutting somebody's hair is a hard no. Don't you ever do it, or you totally deserve to be in that time loop. Listen, don't cut people's hair.
I knew Ashley would have strong feelings about this.
Yeah, I love Loki, but you do not, sir.
Sir.
I love the empathy of Loki in that scene where he's like, I thought it was funny. It wasn't. Like, I learned my lesson. Like, I saw what, I did not like the way you treated me after I did that. Like, he also talks about how he's scared of being alone, and that's why he does everything he does. He's scared of being alone. So he always wants attention. He wants the attention, but he does bad things for attention, which drives people away.
Emotionally.
Right. It reminds me of the Rocket and Yondu thing a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It also just reminds me of a petulant child. Because, like, if the child only ever gets a reaction out of the parent when they're doing a bad thing, that's what they learn, is to do bad things for attention.
Oh my God, look at the onion that you're unpeeling right now. My eyes, it's just affecting them. Stop cutting these onions.
And then, like, what we didn't talk about last night is young Sylvie being abducted from her timeline. Like, just existing was enough to cause variance energy or to create a Nexus event?
Maybe. That's the thing that's so interesting. She's sitting there and
she's sitting there playing with toys.
She like knocks one of them over or something, and then the timekeepers rush in.
It was her destiny. I think she was going to be like powerful.
Maybe, but like what in that moment created so much variance energy? And that's what's so interesting is like, Renslayer says, I don't remember. But like, what's so tragic about that is that she has been asking that question her whole life. Like, she lets her ask a question. That's what's been on Sylvie's mind all this time. Her whole life, she's been on the run, and she's been going like, what did I do wrong to deserve this? Like, why do I deserve this life? And the life she describes to Loki early in the episode, like, I lived in these apocalypses. I lived my life, I wrote it down. I lived my life. That's where I grew up, the ends of 1,000 worlds. That, like, and again, never being able to be with anyone, always being alone, because everyone she's ever been around since she was young has just been destined for death. And that's how she's had to live this whole time. That is tragic, and it's the makings of an incredibly interesting character.
Yeah.
I hope she gets her answers, because you know that she was lying, Renslayer.
Oh,
she a lying?
I mean, you can see it on her face that she was just saying that for spite.
I don't agree.
Really? Oh, no. She had an attitude from the second she was on that elevator. That's the way she was talking. All she does is lie.
Yeah, but in that moment, I don't think she had a reason to lie, because she's on the elevator taking her up to be like pruned by the timekeepers, right?
I think it was just spite.
They always say that when you get taken in by, like, when you're questioned about in a day that happened in your life, that you don't remember it unless there was an event that was memorable. Well, anything that has to do with that Loki is going to be memorable in her mind because it was where she made her biggest mistake. So do I buy that she doesn't remember anything about her biggest mistake in the timekeeper's eyes or whoever's in charge? Absolutely not.
Maybe she remembers her mistakes, but like, would she remember Sylvie's mistake is the question. And like, I totally buy that she wouldn't. I think it makes her more cruel that she doesn't remember. I
think
Sylvie's
everything's
just a
recorded
number on a list, you know? Sure.
The TVA shows us that like all that stuff is recorded on file.
I'm not saying she for sure wasn't lying, but like, I don't think that it's necessary that she was lying. I think it's just as character revealing if that's the truth. She's like, I don't remember. You're just a variant to me. You don't mean anything to me. Like,
I didn't.
Because we don't.
Okay.
As Owen Wilson said, she tells Owen Wilson she has all these other people working for her. Like, how many cases is Renslayer running? You know, how many Renslayers are there, first off? But if this is the only one, is she like running a bunch of different versions of this office? Is she like got a lot of timekeepers? Are there tons of B-15s and Mobiuses out there doing her bidding? Like, she may just have, this may not be as big a case to her as, you know, we see it as.
Well, you would think it would be to her because it's the one that got away from her and caused all this problem, and it was her fault.
Right. It is a one. We know
she also keeps saying that the timekeepers are all over this case.
Yes,
like
she does.
They're watching this like a hawk. So it's absolutely a case that she would know every aspect.
But she also knows the timekeepers don't exist, right?
I guess
maybe.
You guys saying she lies all the time. All that stuff is just to motivate Mobius.
that's fair.
Yeah, no, she's lying about everything, which
Right.
is obviously bringing them into that room was all show. Yeah, 100% she knows that that's not the real timekeepers.
I think so.
Well, no, I mean, she walked in there in the beginning of the episode and looked all like, I'm super scared.
Everything
Was that
she's
a show?
saying is just to motivate. I think everything
There's
she's
nobody
saying
else
is
around her, though.
But maybe
Right.
that's where they like transmit,
Yeah,
kind of
it
like
still might be where they
Star
talk
Warsy,
from. Right.
like how Snoke would talk in that room.
Oh, yeah.
It might
Yeah.
it might still be their communication device. It might still be where she goes to learn from them or whatever.
Because
even
when
if she
Sylvie
knows
cut
they're
the
not
heads
there.
off, they laughed. They were
Yeah.
all laughing.
What was Renslayer's? Did Renslayer respond to that as if she knew? I'm trying to remember how Renslayer acted.
I think she was unconscious.
She was
at the time.
unconscious.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So what if she doesn't know? But I digress. I hear you guys point. I think it's possible she's lying, but I also think it's possible she's so cruel and thinks Sylvie is so... The facts of the case don't matter to her. You know what I mean? Like, the facts of why a variant is a variant don't matter to her. Like, what Sylvie did to get pruned, it's just that timekeepers tell her to prune, she goes and prunes. Like, the fact that she messed up, yeah, I buy that she would always remember her mistakes, but, like, why a variant is a variant might not matter to her.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't matter why you're a variant. I just know that you're a variant. I have to prune you, or I have to take you in.
Even if you're not a variant, even if you're like a C20, was that her name? Even if
Yeah.
you're C20 and you didn't do anything wrong and you're not a variant at all, you still prune
I mean,
her.
you could say it like after that little girl disappeared, that they're like, hey, fix your problem. So she would learn everything there was to know about this Loki variant. So
Right. The question
to track
is,
them.
The question is, does Renslayer know she's... So the thing that made me think that Renslayer knew the timekeepers weren't real was that she killed C20. Because she was trying to protect the secret that C20 was spilling. So, like, does she know the secrets that C20 was spilling, and then she shut it down and had her murdered because... You know what I mean? Or is she trying to protect her own position with the timekeepers or whatever, even though does she believe it so much that she's willing to destroy a dangerous idea within C20, or does she know the secret that C20 is telling and she's willing to kill C20 for that reason, right? That's what made me think she knew about the timekeepers, but now I'm not so sure now that we talk about it.
Yeah, We'll go ahead and use our catchphrase from the other night. I don't know.
I don't know. I think she wouldn't have killed her if she didn't know that was, that the whole thing was
The whole thing was a ruse or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And her face in that little iPad video,
But
she
then
was
that
like,
kind of
they
undercuts
know.
all the fear and stuff that she has of the timekeepers because she knows they're not real, or at least she knows they're not there.
Yeah, they're not there. I think she still has fear of whoever her boss is. There's definitely a boss here.
Right. Who is
There's
it?
a big bad.
Who is it?
Right.
Or it's just
Kang.
Renslayer's it.
Kang.
Okay. There's talking about Renslayer. One of my favorite lines in this episode was like when she's talking to Owen Wilson and she says, "Friendships like ours are worth fighting for. This place is worth fighting for too." All this stuff, and he just goes, "Good speech." Like,
Yeah.
you can tell he's so used to being convinced by her, like over and over and over. He's kind of not buying it,
Yeah.
but he like still sort of lets her convince him. but there's still like more to it that he can tell there's more going on than, he's being a good detective, I guess.
He can tell that she's holding something back.
Yeah.
She's keeping something from him, and he's like, yep, those words were good. However, the intent was not.
Yeah.
Did you guys like how we got an almost wow?
Yeah,
but it was a how.
Close enough. Close enough.
I died.
Close enough. Okay, anything else before we bring in some live feedback?
Yes. Yeah. Do you think that Sylvie's Nexus event could be that she was being raised with a happy childhood? Loki should not have a happy childhood.
Yeah.
Because Loki has to be raised to be awful.
I like the theme that we go with there, that like that is why like that could be a great reveal if we find out that the variance energy that they felt on that planet that made it so extreme for the TVA to have to come in was that two Lokis were suddenly had the mildest amount of connection to another person. Like that Lokis are supposed to live and die alone, and like this is Loki trying to fight past his programming, as it were, or his destiny. And I love that, and it does remind me a lot of Rocket and Yondu again. Like, this is who we are, and now they're like trying to turn and be a different person. Like,
you can be whatever you want.
You can be whatever you want. You can be even a good person. I want that poster. You can be whatever you want, even a good person, and just a picture of Owen Wilson's character, Mobius. I never want to call him Mobius because I always want to call him Morpheus.
And I want to say more BS, so we're all on the same page. I stopped after episode 2, though.
Sorry, I'm still.
I trained myself. That was like the only thing I could do. I don't know
what you guys are having problems with. I don't have a problem with it. It's Mobius.
It's Owen Wilson. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that a lot, Jeff.
Yeah.
Anything else? Let's get to some live feedback.
That was the last thing that I
Ashley, I'm going to bring you back in here. What on the video? What you got? What did you collect for us?
Okay, the
what
first
little
one.
Infinity Stones have you brought?
It's more of a little reaction. Voice Inject says, YTF is Marvel so abusive to Loki and Loki fans? I died before the end credits scene started rolling. Me too.
Same.
My brain exploded.
Yeah, I could, and I bought it completely. Oh, here's something I really want to talk about. Like, I love when they used Mobius's death here perfectly because they set it up and they set Loki's like grief of losing him up so that we believed. One of the great things a director can do before a big fight scene is to kill off a main character because you believe that another one can die. You believe this is a world where your main characters can die. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And them killing off Mobius in that previous scene set us up for that last battle that when Loki dies, I believed it. I bought in. I was like, there were parts of me that like, maybe there's some way out of this. Maybe this is an alternate timeline. Maybe this is all variants of variants anyway, whatever. But like...
Go get another Loki, please.
I believe that Loki was dead. And that I would not have believed it, I don't think, if Mobius hadn't died a scene earlier, because I believed that that's what those sticks did because of the way Loki reacted, the way our protagonist reacted.
Yeah, it gave stakes and it gave motivation.
Absolutely.
It gave stakes and motivation to that final fight and like really sold all of it.
Yeah.
And the way that, oh man, the last thing that we see of Mobius as he's being, as he's being eaten away, dissolved, whatever, is his face as it's just like, and his face is the last thing to go. And it's like, oh God, Mobius, no.
I'm going to miss that nose.
I'm going to miss that crooked ass nose.
Like, and those, you grow up. No, you grow up.
The only thing about that whole thing with Mobius and Loki that was a little off-putting to me was... I'm not totally sure I buy their relationship at this point.
The friend stuff?
Yeah, they're so good friends. And like Mobius feels so betrayed by Loki running off on him. Like he knows who Loki is. He's even constantly said who Loki is. And there's a little bit of like them feeling like such close friends feels a little rushed to me.
I guess because he's watched his stuff so much and saw his turn, maybe he really just was like totally invested that there was good in him. Like he saw the Loki that we saw. Like maybe Mobius is us.
Right.
This is me.
Part of it depends on like how long were they friends? Like how long was Loki in the TVA?
Time works differently in the TVA.
Right. Was Loki there?
They've worked so many cases together.
Yeah, maybe they worked a few other cases together.
Well, I would have liked to see those.
Yeah, same.
We need an offshoot procedural series.
Man,
it's like Turner and Hooch, except
no dogs die.
Yeah,
no dogs die.
Oh, that spoiler alert!
Are you gonna bring up that movie?
So Mobius and Fenris, his dad.
Oh God. Okay. Jake. ADL CPH says, this episode was bloody amazing. First off, if Mobius is dead, I'm going to effing riot. This whole thing with Renslayer is 100% leading to Kang. I can't believe that Loki's death can still affect me like this. I'm fully shipping Sylvie and Loki, and that post-credit scene, holy ship balls.
Holy shirt balls.
I think the Nexus event was them accepting their deaths instead of trying to escape. But yeah, I did get a vibe that it was their love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. All good thoughts, Jake.
Yes.
Good Jake. CJ Hunt says, the Timekeeper fight gave me major The Last Jedi vibes, team up plus death of a puppet. I agree. I was saying the same thing.
Interesting. Death of a puppet. Like
Snoke.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Okay.
Because he was the puppet of Palpatine.
That's right. I was like, who is he the puppet of? I forgot that he had a connection to Palpatine.
Yeah, no.
It's very
better that we forget that.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. This is going to do it better.
SparkSam85 says, now that we know Loki isn't dead, do we think the pruning just sends people to their favorite places? Like Renslayer keeps asking Mobius where he would want to go. I think she knew he was about to be pruned.
Oh, somewhere with a jet ski.
Interesting.
Oh, he's just in Miami.
Interesting that they might be actually intentionally sending them somewhere humane, as it were.
She did need to take like a second after it. She did look a little upset. I saw a little bit of emotion there.
Right.
From her.
I think there's a little bit of genuine, like, she's turning her back on all these people she's worked with for who knows how many centuries. Of course, what is Renslayer? Who is Renslayer? How is Renslayer? Why is Gamora?
I just know I'm going to beat that. Beat that. I don't like her.
I feel like episode 5 is probably going to be our flashback episode of like how the TVA got established into what it is. We're gonna see a lot of Renslayer. We're gonna see definitely who established the TVA.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Or it's entirely going to be in this offshoot universe wherever Loki has ended up.
I think it could absolutely have just like they had the cold open this episode of Sylvie's sort of origin story. I think they could absolutely do the cold open of Renslayer's origin story, or that might be saved for episode 6. I don't know. I'd like to see Old Man Loki's origin as well.
Nah, man. Old Man Loki, like that council of Lokis, they're the timekeepers.
Ooh.
Like, I wanted Richard Grant as Old Man Loki, but I didn't want him in that costume until I saw him in that costume, and then I was like, perfect! Of course!
He looks like just a shitty cosplayer.
Oh, I love it. He's
So
the
good.
first! He's the first!
Yeah. He's like, I wonder if like
OG.
it's possible that's like 616 Loki. Like, you know?
Like actual 616
Yeah.
Loki?
Like, obviously it would be weird because they'd have to like live by that, but like, you know,
Yeah.
it could be. It could absolutely happen if the multiverse is real.
Yeah.
And in this case, like 616 has been destroyed, right? Like until they
Probably.
reawaken the multiverse, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, man.
So obviously this Loki core, they're the timekeepers, right?
Yeah. It's... Well,
Everything has been part of the plan to get this variant Loki to that point in time so that he could become one of them.
How cool would it have been?
It's a real dumb theory.
How cool would it have been if they had every comics creator take the month to write like what their person is doing on the sacred timeline? Right? Like, like if they had taken the like initiative to make every comics writer write a story that's tied into this because it's like their character is what they would be doing if they were on the sacred timeline instead of like what they're doing now, and then like have it break back out into the regular story after that. Like the TVA has control of the comics timeline for the week or
that issue.
Yeah, yeah. That issue is the one issue made during the TVA's reign or whatever.
Wow.
Okay. Hey, what else you got, Ash?
Kyle Ray says, "What about Miss Minutes? Is she important at all? I mean, she's Kang, right?"
All things are Kang until proven innocent.
I think she will tie in. I think we're going to get like an evil Miss Minutes at some point.
Oh, God.
Oh, I hope so.
Pay no attention to the voice actor behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to take y'all out of existence.
Yeah. I think... Has anyone seen the Star Trek Lower Decks? No. Oh, man. So good. There's an episode where, okay, you gotta, this is, if you'd watch nothing else from Star Trek ever, watch this episode.
Just this episode out of any episode. Star Trek thing ever made, for sure.
It's not my favorite or anything, but you guys will like it. You two and anyone will like it. If you like Rick and Morty style comedies and like just funny stuff.
I don't.
You don't like Rick and Morty?
You're a liar.
Carry on.
You're a crazy person. Anyway, there's an episode where they create in the holodeck a character named Badgie, who is their help guide. It's like Clippy from the whatever, but they do something wrong in the code and he just wants to murder them. So the whole episode, the characters are like fighting across the holodeck while Badgie keeps popping up in this really friendly voice. And he comes in, but he's wanting to murder them. It's so good. It's so funny. There are some moments it's like completely not Star Trek-y, but I freaking love it.
Fun.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
Got about two more. Dr. Kyle Berkeley says Renslayer is Loki. She hits the check marks. In a position of power, liar, can't be trusted, cool. Are you talking about me? Oh, does alligator Loki mean that there's an Thor?
Ooh.
No, it's Frog Thor.
Frog Thor.
There is a Frog Thor. I think alligator Thor has probably been transmuted into an alligator at some point.
Alligator Thor.
Alligator.
Yeah.
Alligator.
Yeah.
Wait, don't say that too much. We're going to get in trouble.
Brian Klein in the chat says Throg.
Yep. He was a Throg. Some of my favorite internet pictures are when a dog has Mjolnir as like the bone, like chewing on Mjolnir handle, and it's like it's a Labrathor, it's a Thorgy, whichever version.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Just dogs. We don't deserve them.
We don't deserve dogs.
They're the best.
We might deserve Quill.
Yeah, I think we deserve Quill. I deserve
maybe
Quill. I deserve every bit of Quill. All right, what you got? What's that last one, Ash?
All right, and the last one, Steph89 says, do they have footage of the sacred timeline, like when Mobius was showing Loki everything that happened in his life? Because if they can see everything, Mobius should just go check that out to see what happened on Lamentis and what the next event could be. That would have been great if they didn't plume him out of existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The problem is I don't know. They couldn't find them is the thing.
Well, the stuff that they had with Loki was like footage on a reel. Right. So they would have to pull that record of the footage and take it over to the Time Theater and install it and then get it running. It's not like they can just like pull up a live version of the timeline and
because they have worse technology than we have here. Yeah,
they have worse technology than we are currently using to run this podcast.
But it's holographic 3D at the same time.
Yeah.
It's very strange the way... Like, I have to imagine in worlds like this, that's all just, like, representational the way that like Loki sees it or something, or as we as the audience see it, it's all like representational of what's actually going on in the TVA.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You said there was no magic in this place.
Yeah.
Science?
There's not. It's just the 70s.
Science.
Love that line. Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to chat about? Because it's about time that we turn it over to the trivia of it all.
It's about time.
So thank you guys for hanging out with us. We are the Marvel Cinematic Universe Podcast. We'll be back soon. Hit us up at all the places. We're at facebook.com/MCUcast. MCUcast everywhere you get your social stuff. We haven't said that in a long time. So MCUcast everywhere. We're Stranded Panda everywhere too. Stranded Panda is the network. We're Stranded Panda on TikTok, where Melissa is about to complete the 100 days of Chris Evans' thirst.
Yeah, there's only like 4 days left.
Yeah, yeah.
She's going to end it on the 4th of July, on Independence Day.
That's right. You may notice 4 days left means 4th of July for the Captain America thirst will end. And 100 Days of Thirst. So check out the @Stranded Panda on TikTok.
It's America's
It's been
ass.
very, very fun. She's just been putting out great content like every day. It's been so good. And we'll be putting like theory videos and stuff up there. As always, we're doing the Twitch live podcasts and the live watches on Scener. All those links will be right below us in the podcast notes.
Feedback. Make sure you get your feedback to mcucast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Keep it short and sweet, please.
Yeah, you guys did a great job getting through a lot of feedback.
We're not going to be able to do what we did next week.
Yeah.
So keep it short and sweet. Get it in by Sunday night, guys. Sunday night.
Yeah, and Mondays we'll be doing our regularly scheduled 6 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/StrandedPandaTV. We take live feedback there as well.
And Ashley and I are starting a show that is a Twitch exclusive.
That's right.
yes.
Twitch exclusive. Nowhere else.
We're going to be starting this up Thursday at 7 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/StrandedPandaTV. Check out Legends and Libations, where we get a little drunk and talk about some mythology and ghost stories and various other things. It's only going to be on Twitch, so those of you that can see my hands right now, like this is where you're going to need to be.
Yeah. Unless you're watching this on YouTube, then you need to be on twitch.tv/StrandedPandaTV.
We don't know what we're doing.
I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what to do with these. That's what it said.
All right, guys.
We'll see.
We're all done. We're gonna turn it over for trivia night. Peace.
Until next time, true believers.
Bye.
Ooh, I like that one.
You made it all sultry that time.
Bringing it down.
Thank you for joining us for the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. Available everywhere you get podcasts, and now a video version streaming live on twitch.tv/StrandedPandaTV and available at youtube.com/StrandedPanda. And if you'd like to learn more about all of our other podcasts, geeky projects, and ways to support the network, visit strandedpanda.com.